a Flieger from Winner. So this Chinese brand has managed to perform a great timepiece in pilot watch fashion. So what you get here is a domed crystal. You get a see-through back. You also get a screw-down case back. You can actually see the movement. Now, it's not decorated, but still, you can see the balance wheel. It's nice. This is a stainless steel watch. And the best part about this is that it's only $14. That's right, 1-4. That's it. This was the cheapest automatic that I could pick up on AliExpress, but I really didn't expect that it's going to be this good. Now, I was looking for the cheapest automatic. I didn't expect that I will actually get a decent watch, and it will be really interesting to discuss, to look into the details of this watch and do this review. So without further ado, let me tell you all about the Winner A458, a pilot's watch for $14. I will be leaving a link to the listing where I got this watch from in the description below the video, so make sure to check it out. The dimensions of the watch are: we've got a 41.8 millimeter diameter. The lug-to-lug measurement is 45.7 millimeters. That means that this watch is suitable even for the smaller or the slender wrists. The ear-to-ear is 22 millimeters, and the strap the watch comes from actually gets a sort of leather, so it's a faux leather strap. It's not the best strap out there. You should probably change it as soon as you get the watch, but yet it does taper from 22 to 18 millimeters. The thickness or the height of the watch is 14.3 millimeters. In general, the Fliegers are tool watches. They're all about telling the time. The black dial with pure white numerals, almost clinical. It's a very clean look, and this adds to the legibility of the watch. On the Winner, the font is particularly good. It's actually pleasing and clear. I think the numerals could be slightly more fatter or more bold, but then again, it's clear enough and it looks right in the setting. If we talk about the case, well, it's stainless steel, and that's actually told to us on the side case back. You will also notice that the case back is actually see-through. Now, we checked the crystal on the see-through back, and actually it is just mineral glass, but we didn't really expect much more. If we look at the top of the watch, on the sides, well, it's a polished case, and the polishing is actually of decent quality. There's no blotching, there's no marks. It's a well done finish. The polished finishing is on the sides as well as on the top, on the lugs. It's even on the crown. Now, the crown here is very basic. It's unsigned. It's not a screw down crown, and that's okay, because really it still goes with the aesthetic. It does get a vintage inspired look, and I think the inspiration for this particular watch is the IWC Mark 15 to Mark 20. So you get a couple of cues from those vintage IWCs, especially the date window complication, which is going in a sweeping fashion. The crown has quite wide threading, and once again, it's quite hefty in size. We're looking at 8.5 millimeters in diameter. And this takes us back to the IWC-ish look again. Now, again, I wouldn't say it's a homage. It's probably too far-fetched. But it does get a couple of cues from that day and age of the IWC watches. Now, then again, we do know that the Fliegers have a certain look to them. The aesthetic doesn't have limitations, but it's sort of a frame of mind. And what we can see here is that, yes, you do get a very dark dial. Usually, though, on the pilot watches, you get matte black and the distinctive white or contrasty white numerals and buttons. Well, here we actually get a glossy black. I wouldn't say it's as glossy to say that it's a piano glossy black, but yet it's not matte, definitely not. And again, it does go with the polished case. If the case had actually brush styling, then potentially the dial would look better if it was matte. But here we get the polished and the gloss setup. We do get a dome crystal on this watch, and that adds to the very interesting and unique reflections as well as the distortions as you do look onto the watch case from the sides, right from above. It's an interesting kind of look. So the crystal here is mineral glass. There is no anti-reflective coating, not on top nor under the actual crystal. A bit of a shame, yet because we get the high contrast numerals, which we'll talk about in a second, there is no problem with seeing the time at basically any light conditions. Now the dial here looks really good, and it's unexpected at this price point, but this applied winner logo, which is actually edged in chrome, it just slightly breaks it up. Now if this logo and brand name was actually printed onto the dial, that would be much better, I think. Again, it's not a deal breaker, it's more of a personal peeve and a personal preference. The hour buttons are highlighted with dabs of lume. The 3, 6, 9 and 12 o'clock buttons are fatter with more lume applied. At the 12 o'clock, we get a distinctive upward facing triangle, which is also covered in lume. It's actually function driven rather than styling. So back in the 1930s, when the first Flieger just came out, it helped the pilot identify the upward orientation of the dial during night flights. If the minute track is the standard for Flieger watches, Winner took it to the next level with the seconds chaptering on the rehaut of the dial. I think that really does expand the size of the dial. Considering it's just under 42 millimeters in diameter, you still get this expanse. So the rehaut is actually at an angle to the dial and the crystal on top. You still get the clean, clinical and highly legible dial. The date window sweeps across 5 days. The date of the current day is emphasized by the luminous 3 o'clock button. I was having a closer look at the date window, and surprisingly it's cut out really neatly. The minute and hour hands are sword style. Not as meaty as you'd expect on the vintage IWCs or the contemporary actually, but again, very distinctive and contrasting white on black. The seconds pointer sweeps around the dial, albeit not super smoothly, but in a pleasing fashion. If we talk about the movement here, we get a Chinese automatic DD119. The only details I could find about this movement is that the power reserve is somewhere around the 35-hour mark. I have been reading up on forums and comments of people that have these watches, and some of the comments are really great. Some people have had the watch for 2-3 years already, and they're very happy with the movement. Now, they do say that the movement is not particularly accurate. You can expect a variance of 1 to 2 minutes per week. So that is not amazing, but then again, I have seen movements, even the ETA movements, that were out by this much. So again, for the price of just $14, you're getting yourself a good looking watch. You're getting yourself a very functional watch. It's just, I have to reiterate, see-through back, screw down case back, stainless steel watch case. You get a date complication, you get the pilot aesthetic, and all this really, once again, for a very low price. Now, I will be leaving a link to the listing I got this watch from in the description below the video, so check it out if you want to get a sharp price. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this watch. It's a looker, it's functional, practical. What else could you want? Maybe just to try and get into the automatic watches, maybe get yourself a nice birthday present, whatever it is. This is a really nice piece. And again, it comes at that price point where it's not that tough to make a decision, and at the same time, not get yourself a dingy, crappy watch, but get yourself something really stylish and actually useful. Well, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed the review, please drop me a like. If you want to see more of the same, you know what to do. Please hit the red subscribe button below the video. And I'll see you in the next one.